In September, we scaled one of our e-commerce brands 70% month over month. And here's the crazy part. They were struggling with their meta ads for months prior to that. And their ads weren't necessarily bad and their offer wasn't really bad. The difference is that they were getting crushed by Meta's new Andromeda update. So if you felt like your ad performance has fallen off a cliff since the summer, then you might want to pay attention to this video. And this is not going to be like another Andromeda video where I just walk you through and tell you that there needs to be creative diversity in your ad account. I'm going to show you how we are actually handling and strategizing creatives to execute the Andromeda update profitably. So let's dive into this video and let me walk through exactly how you can approach the Andromeda update and how you can generate millions for your e-commerce brand. The Andromeda update, how smart brands win on Meta in 2025 and 2026. Why your ads felt off this summer. So this article actually came out in December of 2024. This was a very technical article from Meta themselves talking about the Meta Andromeda update. But really we saw the impact start to come in around July of 2025, which was the full rollout where we start to see some volatility across ad accounts. Now our team spends hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month on ads. And we saw that some accounts were kind of impacted, some weren't as impacted. So it does depend account to account, but basically CTRs dropped, CPM spiked, spend was spread thin. And it's not your offer, it might not be necessarily like your creatives, it's actually the Meta's ad delivery system that has changed. What is the Andromeda update? So really, I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. It's really an AI-driven retrieval system inside Meta's ad delivery engine. Basically right now with the influx of AI, people are creating more creative than ever, so Meta needs a faster way to get through all this creative. Millions and millions of creatives getting uploaded every single day, so they need a better process to find creatives that are going to win the auction and be relevant to their user base. It's really rebuilt to handle 100 times more ad volume thanks to AI generated creatives, and it uses NVIDIA's Grace Hopper superchips for real-time matching. That's really what they talk about in that article. So it's a lot faster, and really what we need to figure out is how do we feed this beast of Andromeda? How do we do the right things to make sure that we are leveraging the algorithm correctly? How Meta chooses an ad. Really, so there's a retrieval process, there's a light ranking, there's a final scoring, and there's an auction. Andromeda focuses on the retrieval, which is step one. So it's how is it going to filter millions and millions of ads in just milliseconds, right? So there's so many ads being published that they need an easy way to retrieve those ads and figure out what's going to be relevant to their user base. So the old system was manual indexing. So one creative hogged all the spend, small variations really mattered. So you might have like one video with multiple hooks, but it's pretty much a similar video. In the Andromeda era, AI clusters similar ads. If you create, a video with 5 different hooks, but it's pretty much the same video, that's going to be treated as a similar or same ad. And so budget is distributed across concepts, not ads. So instead of like if you create an ad set where you had like 5 of similar ads, probably all of the budget will go towards like one of those, and that'd be treated as one concept. And then you add more ads to that, then it would start to get distributed across different concepts, not just the individual ads. Creative diversity is now critical. Now, what does that mean for you? Creative is the new targeting. Quite frankly, it's been for a while. Like I feel like this is something that I've talked about for a while, but now more than ever, creative is the new targeting when it comes to Andromeda updates. Meta reads every pixel, every word, skin tones in the ad creative, the background, the copy, every single element of your ad, even your landing pages, they're studying that. And so what that does is that they do a scan and say, okay, this ad will most likely be beneficial for this type of customer. So that really does the targeting for us, right? So your creative signals decide who sees your ad, right? It's not really the ad targeting anymore because your ad itself has so many data points that AI can scan that and then feed that ad to the right individual. So variation testing is dead. So historically what we wanted to do is we had one UGC video and then we'd have 5 hooks on the same UGC. In the Andromeda era, 5 hooks on the same UGC is considered one ad cluster, so it's like one concept. So what we want to do instead is create 5 unique concepts, which means 5 new data signals. So instead of just creating one UGC video with multiple hooks, you might want to create completely different concepts. We're going to talk about that here in a second. So running 5 versions of the same ad with different openings used to be smart. Now the system sees them as identical. That's why you're seeing less spend concentration. Andromeda groups them. So this is what these are real client examples. Quite frankly, we still do this to some extent, right? I wouldn't say this is completely dead, but if you're looking for big improvements to your ad account, you used to be able to get away with just like micro improvements, but now we're going to large, unique variation testing. So this is like the same exact ad pretty much. You can see the copy is pretty much the same on the left-hand side, and then basically we just swapped out the image of the athlete, right? So we should do this a lot. And this is what was, let's just make these incremental changes. Let's see what outperforms the other one. Now what Meta wants us to do is more drastic concepts, right? This example of variation testing from a graphic, of course, for UGC, it'd be like the same UGC video with a different hook, but just so you can get the idea here. Concept testing is the new advantage. Before it was variation testing, now it's concept testing. So you can try one thing they'll always test, like the format. So static, UGC, founder talk, demo, testimonial. Think about all the types of ad mediums that you can create an ad for. And then each concept really does create a unique data fingerprint. And the brands winning now are testing ideas, not hooks. Different formats, angles, and emotions feed the algorithm more learning opportunities and more chances to find winners. So this is the TVG Creative Diversity Framework. So what we want to do is we want to understand the format, the angle, the persona, and awareness. So the format is like I was talking about, what's the medium? So like what's the type of ad that we're creating? So static, video, UGC, carousel. Angle, kind of the idea, what we want to convey in our ad. So is it going to be problem focused? Is it going to be desire focused? Is it going to be proof focused? Is it going to be us versus them comparison? Then the persona, who are we actually going after? Is this a buyer? Is this a gifter? Is it a skeptic? Is it a returning customer? Is it a cold customer? And then unawareness, right? We have the stages of awareness and marketing. Are they completely problem aware? Are they product aware? Are they completely unaware? Most aware? Using these different categories or these pillars, it can help you create more unique creatives. Our internal framework builds 20 plus unique ad concepts every month by mixing these 4 pillars. Each combination becomes a distinct learning signal for the algorithm. And a great thing of what you can do is also you can load up all these formats, angles, personas, awareness, and say, hey, I'm an ad strategist looking to tackle Meta's Andromeda update in ChatGPT, and it will spit out tons of different variations, right? So use AI to your advantage to get a lot of that strategy done. Now you can see concept testing is a new advantage. So we have basically almost like a message from an employee talking, right? So it's a vertical video.
What's up, Team Proven? My name is Jim.
Then on here, we have more of like a brand ads. This is more like motivational. And then we have the graphic. You can see those are 3 completely different concepts, and they'll work together in an ad account to get a purchase, right? You might see this ad top of funnel, say this is pretty badass, and you might consume this ad, and then you might get hit with this to actually purchase. Customers are taking through a journey, so it's important to have those different concepts to test in your ad account. Campaign architecture that wins. We've been doing this for a while, but mostly the media buying structures, the ad account structures are very simplified in this day and age. High level, I have other trainings about this, but you might want to have an Advantage Plus sales campaign as a main scaling engine. Creative testing campaign where you're feeding winners weekly or finding those winners weekly. Retargeting potentially. Sometimes through Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we might have its own retargeting campaign just to nurture and close some customers that are on the edge. And then sometimes interest stack for data diversity. But again, really Meta's going a lot, like pushing for open, broad, letting AI find the targeting. So really, you don't need 15 campaigns. You need one clean setup where creative testing fuels the sales engine every single week. Audience segments, this is very important. So in your audience segmentation, we need to make sure that we have new and existing customers, those lists updated. You can also, if you're using Klaviyo for an e-commerce brand, you can upload a dynamic list through Klaviyo, which automatically updates. It's really important that we have new customers, existing customers, so we have those engaged segments. So that will teach Meta's algorithm on who to target and how to focus on new customer growth, which should be your number 1 priority with ad spend. Strengthen your signal. A few more things here. Make sure advanced matching is on. Make sure conversion API gateway is installed. Make sure your matchback score is 8 to 10 plus. Pixel events clean and verified. The AI is only as good as the data you feed it. Turn on advanced matching. Maximize your API tracking, and make sure your event rate is strong. That is the foundation. So really, this is a weekly TVG creative flywheel. This is what we do for our clients. But every single week, we should be ideating new ads. We should be producing new ads. We should be launching new ads. We should be promoting winners. And we should archive learnings. Really, that's the whole process. The more unique ads, the better. And really, I would say it doesn't mean create 100 unique ads. I'd focus more on quality over quantity with these ads. So let's just say you want to create 20 unique ads. Make sure those are absolutely incredible new ads. Don't just create a bunch of AI creative that, there's not much thought put into it. So really what we do is we run a repeatable creative flywheel. Every week, new ideas go into testing, winners get scaled, and learnings feed back into the next batch. That is how we stay ahead of algorithm shifts. Here's an action plan for you to follow if you want to improve your results through the Meta Andromeda update. Week 1 is audit signals and simplify structure. So simplify your ad account structure, get and produce 12 to 16 new concepts. And maybe you want to focus more on graphics, but get some videos and different variations, right, up and live. Promote the 3 to 5 winners to an Advantage Plus sales campaign, and then fix persona gaps, ad comparison, demo format. Figure out when ads are working or winning, figure out what persona are those talking to, or what's the angle of these videos, and then create other concepts that are not like those. So not just like little variations, try to test other concepts that are completely different to those. And this is the exact playbook we use post Andromeda. Really, when we jump into ad accounts, and that's how we've been able to get great results, is make sure we clean it all up and then start to test new concepts and establish that new creative rhythm. What to measure? So we want to understand how many concepts are we producing. So concept to variation ratio. Probably want to be creating a lot more concepts than variations. Percentage of spend spread, so avoiding single ad hogging. CPM trend, just making sure your CPMs are remaining strong. Conversion rate by format, learn what Meta favors. Of course, always marketing efficiency ratio divided by CAC versus AOV, just to understand, make sure we're actually profitable in the ad account. Instead of focusing on ROAS, we track the health of your creative portfolio. Meta rewards diversity and fresh data, not spam variations. So common pitfalls: do not create 10 ads that look identical. Do not have an over-segmented campaign structure. Weak tracking signals, like make sure all your pixels or data, all that good stuff is set up in tracking. General mass market messaging, you want to go deep, you want to go unique, you want to understand the persona that we're creating ads for. We fix that with creative diversity, consolidated setup, clean data, persona specific angles. This is our process. This is what we use inside of our growth marketing agency, TVG, where we work specifically with e-commerce brands. So we have something called the paid ads hub. This is what we build out for all of our clients. You can see on the top left, you can see offer, persona, desire, awareness, iteration, concept, right? We've actually been doing this. You can see these dates are actually as early as March, April. We've been doing this for a while, but now it's even more prevalent, and we need to make sure we're doing this. So really the whole intention here is we're starting to brainstorm out what our concepts are and how we can create more unique creatives. Once we brainstorm all this, then we create the brief. So if it's going to a graphic designer or a UGC creator, we brief it all out, and then we ultimately create the final assets. Once that's all created, we upload that into our ad playbook, which is right before it goes live, where the client can approve it. But really important here that this is how we're tracking this. You need to be tracking this, because how are we going to know? It's really hard in the ad account to understand what concept you're testing or if it's a variation. So using something like this is super powerful. And I'll leave a link below if you want to check out the paid ads hub and you can start using it for your brand. Okay, so here's the example of a client. So this client came to us in July. We kicked off mid-August. You can start to see that upward trajectory happen once we started to restructure the ad account, get new creatives in the mix. But they had a ton of different campaigns here, and they were really like, a lot of their spend was only going towards carousels. It used to work way better for them, but ad performance just fell off a cliff. So when we came in, we said, hey, we need to have much more diversity in the ad account. You can see we jumped in and started to scale from $180,000 to $222,000. And then in September, when I grabbed these screenshots, $263,000, right? So 71% improvement month over month. So really the important thing here is what we implemented was the creative diversity. We got way more creatives into the mix. We restructured the campaign. We simplified the ad account structure, made sure we're not consolidating all the spend towards carousels. That way we have a lot more creative diversity in the ad account. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video and have a better understanding of how to actually tackle the Meta Andromeda update. If you would like me to personally audit your ad account and understand where you might be leaving revenue on the table, then I'll leave a link down below to book in a core growth audit call, which is completely free. Second, if you want to see a video walking through the entire process that we build out for e-commerce brands, that video will pop up on the screen here. And if you want more trainings just like this, make sure to subscribe, drop a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.